Happy Friday from the Philippines. Bye bye City Leyte. It's Dan from Dan and Minnie's Journey. Hello, hello. It's party time. Yay. Not really. But grab your favorite libation and join me for a drink. It's Fun Day. Or shall we say Fundador Day? Sound check, sound check. Let me bring up the comment section. You all let me know if you can hear me okay. Yeah, so I have a new mic. I have a new mic. I have a Shure mic that I found in town in Bye Bye City. It's a long, slender mic that fits on my stand. It fits on my camera stand, so uh, it's about this long, maybe this long. Let me know if the noise cancellation, all that is working. I got fans of things going on in here. It's been another hot day here in the Philippines. We get rain, we get sunshine, we get more rain, and we get more sunshine. The rain doesn't last very long, even though we had serious downpours a couple of days ago because of probably the rings, of the typhoon that came through. There was barely any rain to moisten the surface, which is good, really. It's good for the guy down there who's building the house because at least it cools things down. So, anyway, I'm coming in loud and clear. Thank you. I appreciate that, Larry. All right, so who's here? Larry Lee is here. Chow Ram is here. Letty Me's new channel. Oh, Letty Me. I gotta give you a jacket. Did you change the name, right, of your channel? Let's see. I signed up. I know that. I subscribed. I got to go to my YouTube channel here. Letty Me. Oh, boy. What am I doing in studio? Yeah. So, otherwise, how's everything going for you folks? While I find my way. I know it's only Thursday other places, but it's Friday here. Or maybe it's not. Maybe it's Friday afternoon here and it's Friday morning early where you are. That could be, right? All right. I'm just now getting to my live stream. I came in here unprepared. See, so since I got this microphone, I searched all over for the on switch right before going live. Yeah, I know. I forgot where it was, and so I'm searching all over the place for the live switch. Yep. You know they don't call me Low Tech Dan for nothing. So who else is here today? So Letty Me, I think I've got you covered on the jacket now. And we have Jay Lynn's here, Cha Ram's here. Rider Adventures in the house. Rider Adventure Anime Reyes is here. And we have Jay Lynn Villarias. We have Anna G. How you be? And we have Larry, the other Larry. And we've got Sweet and Spicy and the rest who chimed in a little bit earlier. Conan the Barbarian is here or was here. Thanks so much for showing up. We got 9 people in the chat so far, 9 million people. And hey, we're gonna be of course we're gonna be drawn for 200 pesos today, 3 times, right? But I found something interesting. Let me show it to you. Let me see if I can bring it up. I have to sign in real quick here. All right, so I started thinking, are one or two of you are clairvoyant or psychics? I started thinking about this. I said, maybe you know the number in advance before I even know what number I'm going to select, right, for the winning number. So I went online to try and find a random number generator. And I found one. YouTube has everything, right? I mean, Google has everything. So here it is. Here's what it looks like. I don't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, there's a random number generator. And what you do, you put in what numbers you want for it to. I don't think you can see it too good on the. I think I need to lower I need to lower my brightness on the screen. But okay, what you do is you put in your perimeters. I don't know if you could see it or not. I don't know if you're able to see it or not. I see it on the screen. 100. And then you put the generate, you push the generate button, and it came up with 99. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be using this to auto generate or randomly generate the number, and then I'll write it down on my index card, and then you'll guess. So same rules apply. You know that if you're the first one to guess the number, then you're gonna win, and then sit the next round out, right? Okay, so now watch. Wait. Now it picked 4. See how it works? Now it's 37. See? Now it's 79. I like it. Do you guys like it? I think it's cool. Then I won't get the number in my head in advance, just in case. Just in case. There's one or two or three of you that have a psychic connection with me, and you're able to guess the number before I even write it down here on this notepad. Okay, Anna Mae's. I don't know if she's laughing at me or Larry. I'm not sure. All right, so I want to talk about a couple things before we get started. It's been a busy week. As many know, I see Tim's in the house. Tim, how's it going? God Repairs is here. Last week's winner. Anna Mae's here, last week's winner. All right, so let's talk about a few things. As many of you know, Ma'am, Minnie, and I we're sort of chomping at the bit to get out of here and go on the road. Oh, Mike married to a beautiful woman. Are you here in the Philippines right now, Mike, by chance? I'm just curious if you're hanging around Mobola, Cebu. Isn't that one of your spots? I'm not sure. I can't remember. I get older and I can't remember anything. Well, anyway, I'm more creative. Thank you. I think. All right, so I think what I'm going to try and do is we're trying to get out of here, right? But we have a lot of projects going on. And I want to explain what they are. I think if you're watching the video, you kind of know what's going on, right? So I blew a gasket because I'm seeing things start to fall apart in this house slowly but surely. And so I was telling Ma'am Minnie, we have to make all these repairs before we leave. We have to get everything upgraded before we leave, or at least in a state where I won't be worrying about it while we're on the road, right? So I'll go over it. So one thing was the painting of the roof. Now, we're getting hit on one side awfully hard by the sun, and it's fading that paint, so, I mean, it's almost like bleaching it white. And so that, when they manufacture those things, they're using the low budget method to to manufacture those sheets of steel, the corrugated steel that go on the roof of your house. Now, we chose the medium. I didn't go high, I didn't go low on the roof. We went right in the middle. I figured the middle is a good place to be, right? So anyway, but we had a lot of leaks in the roof. A lot of leaks because the roof wasn't installed very well. And so I didn't follow up to make sure that they had sealed, all those spots where they'd screwed into the trusses, the metal trusses. And so what ended up happening is we had to go up there and retrofit all of those with, what's it called? Volcaseal. So we had to go and we had to put Volcaseal. Is this boring for you guys? We had to go in and put Volcaseal in there, right? Where all the penetrations were. I like that word, penetration. I don't know why. So anyway, we had to do that. And then once you do that, then you have to reseal the roof again, which means that you have to go in and you have to give it a couple of 2 or 3 coats of epoxy paint. Automotive paint essentially is what it is, right? So you have to go and you have to do 3 or 4, whatever you can afford to do, you have to do the epoxy coating and make sure that they don't miss any of those repairs that you made, where you put the Volcaseal in there. So you're sealing the Volcaseal, basically is what you're doing, right? So that took a couple of days. That took, because it's so hot, the painters can only come in the morning, in the morning early, like 6 to 10, and they would leave and they'd come back by in the evening, right? When it cooled down after 6 p.m. or after 5 p.m. They'd get up there and work like hell, and so they're finished finally, right? And they did a pretty good job. I mean, they did a very good job, in my opinion. They were very quick, concise. They did the number of coatings that I wanted up there. And by the way, it's not inexpensive. The paint is very expensive. The sky's the limit on the paint, depending on what kind of paint you want to use, right? So again, I went with the medium quality paint. I didn't go high, I didn't go low. I went right in the middle. So, ah, Tim used to sell tools, huh? Tim the tool. Oh, that's too easy, right, Tim? Tim the Toolman Taylor, huh? Uh, yeah, I suppose if you call somebody a tool man, that could be considered a derogatory. Um, or you could wear it like a badge of honor, right? Right, guys? Yen Arena's here. Rider Adventures in the house. So anyway, where was I on this conversation? Oh yeah, I know it's boring, everyone. It's stuff that somebody could utilize, if they in the future some kind of way, right? You just want to make sure that things don't rust out. Even if you have a penetration and the water is leaking inside your attic, you can't always see that leak, right? Because that leak, if it's a very, very small leak, the water has the potential to evaporate very, very quickly once it enters the attic. It all depends on what that leak is like. But it still does damage to those corrugated metal roof, because it's going to rust where where the penetration is. So you have to do all this stuff, right? Maintenance on the house. So I know a lot of people don't, because they don't have the money to. I could appreciate that, right? But this is one of the things that's a pet peeve. And so the guys went up there and they took care of business, and now all is well in the world to my satisfaction. So that was one thing, right? That was going on. So the other thing is, the doors are, as I've done a video about this. This is another thing that just bugs the hell out of me. My doors are falling apart. It's not just that exterior door, although the interior doors are fine right now. I don't see any problems with the interior doors except for two of them. But the two exterior doors, the main door in the front and the one in the back, they're falling apart. They're cracking. They're separating, and it's irritating me, because those were very expensive doors that I ordered. They're custom made, and I would have to have a whole new custom door replaced. All right, but I don't necessarily have to do it that way. I could actually. Maris is here. Hi, Maris. Thanks for coming. I could please use lube when penetrating. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, actually, I got to figure out a way to. Lorraine Pajadas is here. I love Lorraine's last name. I'm not even sure I'm saying it right. But so now, here, here's the thing, right? I could just put a plywood panel or a laminate panel over the door and forget about it. I mean, it was an expensive, a solid wood door that I could hide under, under latex. I could hide it. I could hide it under, what do they call that flooring? Laminate. That's what I meant to say, not latex. I could hide it under a laminate sheet, right? And then I don't have to uninstall the door. All I have to do is glue laminate. You know how they do in the Philippines, right? And I haven't decided quite what to do with it. I might just go out there and order a new door. What? Only 12 million people in the house, increasing the odds of winning money tonight by a whole bunch. I guess people are thinking that I'm going to call the numbers towards the end, and then they'll show up towards the end. I don't know. I might change it up. I might call the numbers in the middle of this live stream. I don't know. All right. So that's that problem, right? And then I created one. Those weren't created by me. Those were created for me. The one I created, the one that I created myself was when Paul. You saw the video when Paul installed his setup, right? So he had the water booster, which you need in order to boost the water enough to make the hot water tank work properly. Otherwise, you'll burn your ass off. Nobody wants to get their ass burned off when taking a shower. So once I saw it, I wanted it. I wanted it. I wanted my own system. So, of course, I went down to City Hardware. First, we went down to Wilcon. Listen, this was a good move anyway, even though they didn't have the stuff that we needed at Wilcon for some reason. By the way, there were hardly any people in there. We're going to talk about the economy in a minute, but there were hardly any people in there. But what? And of course, right away I started thinking, oh man, the economy must be really sorry. But when we got over to City Hardware, it was packed. And then come to find out that, yeah, well, I think I paid 10K for the front door, Mike. You're saying 5K is the average cost. I think I paid 10K for that front door. Anyway, went over to City Hardware, it was packed. I told them what I was trying to do, and they pulled the unit that I needed right off the shelf. There's the other word, unit. And I called my favorite installer here in Bye Bye City, and he come over right away and put the thing in, and it works great. But the great part was, Larry knows this. I know Larry made a comment. He was paying attention to the water pressure thing. Uh, the beautiful thing about this was, at the same time, I know I wanted to bring a Wilcon because we ran into the plumbing guy at Wilcon who said he could fix my main water pressure unit, right? My main water pressure pump. So I invited him over, and he was able to repair it in like 10 minutes. And I had a feeling, I had an inkling that it wouldn't start because it needed to be pressurized. Once it depressurizes, once you lose pressure inside that switch, that pressure switch, there's an automatic cutoff valve that shuts the motor off so you don't ruin it. So he brought a bicycle pump. I don't know if you saw that video. He brought a bicycle pump, and he disconnected the main connection to the water pump, and he had a little device that he screws on there. You know, it's a connector, and then he just pumps up the line. He pressurizes the line like a bicycle, and then hooks it back up to the water pressure motor or the pressure switch, and boom, it fired right up. So it needs so many pounds of pressure going through it in order for that thing to work properly, apparently. So Home Depot could have used you, Tim. They're second wind over there in the States. And they ain't got no Home Depots over here. So if you wanted to go back into sales, you probably would do okay. Methinks is here. Yeah, that's what I was saying, Larry. He's a regular Home Depot dude. And they need people who know what they're doing. That's the problem over there. So got those taken care of, right? And so the very next morning, you know, when I'm going in there and I'm taking a shower, I could not believe the difference. It's beautiful. It's just like back home. For crying out loud, why should I go back to the West at all? At all. When I got everything I need here in the Philippines at way more than half the price. All right. So then what happened after that? I think that's all we got going on that way. Oh, and in between all this stuff, of course, we had to attend our adopted daughter. I think I've called her our adopted goddaughter. But my wife, she says she's our adopted daughter. So, Minnie, if she says that Faith is our adopted daughter, then she's our adopted daughter. So, Faith was graduating high school and she just got accepted to Vizcaya University. Dan's secret word today. Yeah, but you don't win. You don't. You don't win any money for that. You could use that word 10 times, and you and you ain't gonna win any money, Mike. But if you're here in the Philippines and we run into each other, I might buy you a cup of coffee. All right, at Dunkin' Donuts. All right, so where was I telling the story? All right, so then in between all that, of course, she was graduating. We had to make sure that we attended her graduation ceremony. And then her brother, MacAndrew, who lives up in Manila, I admire him so much for taking care of Faith when her mother passed away 4 or 5 years ago. That's a long story. It's a long story, but it's a miracle story kind of thing. Um, he is an amazing guy because he actually took a bicycle, his old bike, and he rode it around Highway 1 in northern Luzon. And so he did it solo. He did it by himself. And MacAndrew, I've talked about before, he's the one that came back. He's about 30 years old. And he works, I'm not sure exactly if he works at production in Manila or what, but he comes back and he says, Dan, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on in northern Luzon. You should go and see. And I think he's talking about a whole bunch of military stuff going on in northern Luzon. So that is inspiring me to want to go up there. When Mini makes our way back up through Manila and stuff, we'll see where we're going to go from there. But I'm almost sure we're going to be heading north as far as we could go. We're going to do the usual haunts. We have her uncle and to visit in Pampanga and San Fernando and around there. Hey, Trickster Castro is here, the husband of the incomparable Daisy Lynn Castro. So she sings like a bird. If you're not over in Daisy Lynn's channel, you're missing out on a treat. I'm telling you. She sings like a bird. So, and Trickster Castro works very hard raising his family. He's raising a nice family there. So, you're not doing so bad yourself, Trickster. Daisy Lynn is here. There she is. So, that actually seeing Daisy Lynn and Trickster Castro and their family is on my list of things to do when we get out of here and we start heading north. We want to see Brother Manuel. You know the story about Brother Manuel. I've known him for a long time. Met him in Manila over there at the Robinson's Mall, Manila, there in Ermita. He was the security officer at the Starbucks, and of course, you know, you're going to get to know the security officers at the Starbucks if you go there every day. It's the same as you would any employee that works there. And so I got to know him, and he's like a brother to me. And so I wouldn't miss out on seeing Manuel. I wouldn't miss out on seeing Daisy Lynn and Filipina Raquel this next time we head north. And then of course all the people that are in Manila that I just now realize live close by there because people keep sending me messages. I'm in Manila. I had no idea that you were living close by. I will hook up with as many people as possible. And of course, heading north, you have Pinky Gray. Pinky Gray lives over she lives to the northeast, right? She's slightly to the northeast, up in that area of Luzon that we want to visit. So we have to visit Pinky Gray, of course. Pinky Gray, if you don't know that, we've spent some time together in Manila. I think a year and a half, or it could be 2 years ago by now. The incomparable Pinky Gray, the one responsible for starting it all for Dan and Minnie, at Dan and Minnie's Journey. We were there, sitting there in Sacramento, California, and I think the day after I retired, Minnie was still working, so I take her off to work. I come home, I turn on the TV, and I turn on YouTube, and there was Pinky Gray. There was the Pinkster, and that's how the whole thing started. Yeah, it's been 2 years. 2 years, and then I think a few. When was it that I started bugging you on YouTube? I don't remember, but anyway. Don't visit me the first 21 days of July. And then I started thinking about a whole bunch of other things. But all right. So I'm scattered. I'm all over the place a little bit. Not too much. But I wanted to remind everybody that I believe it was Tim just reminded me by putting that number in there, 21. I'm not sure 21 is going to be the winning number today. I'm not sure. But but Tim reminded me of something. I believe that Leonard Lund passed away on June 21st of last year. And so we have Leonard Lund's 1 year anniversary of his death coming up. And I just wanted to say something about that. Just wanted to say that I thought of him today, and so sometimes things pop into my head and just out of nowhere. And Leonard Lund's name popped into my head, and the date of his death, I believe, was something like June 21st, 2023. A fine human being. May he rest in peace. May he be doing very, very well on the other side. But I think that I won't be missing that anniversary date as it approaches. So, yeah, it was a very sad day. It was a very sad day indeed. So, anyway, what's next to talk about? Okay, so now I should have done a segue. It's hard to go from talking about Leonard's death, who was a mainstay on the on Larry Lee's site, on the online when people used to come up, and also on occasion he would come up on mine, and we would have a good time talking about all things Philippines. Of course, it was a weird series of events that we end up running into, but quite by I don't believe in coincidence. The universe just sends the people to you like magic. They're there for a reason, and we end up running into um, Leonard, the young lady that Leonard had been communicating with. We ran into her at uh, the mall down there in by Pier 4. What's the name of the mall there? The Galleria Mall, is that the name of it? And so we ran into her. Uh, she looked familiar to me, and what ended up happening there is that we had just gotten in on the fast ferry coming into Cebu from Bye Bye City. And the first thing we usually do is head over to that Galleria Mall. And so as I was reaching for the door and opening it up, she was standing right in front of Ma'am Minnie. So I thought I was opening up the door for Minnie, but I ended up opening the door for her. And then I recognized her and I said, "Hey, aren't you a friend of Leonard Lund?" And then right away she started talking to me, saying, "Yeah, as a matter of fact, um, I am." And then we talked for a few minutes, and then she was telling me about how she was notified of his death by his son. And so way before we even knew that he had gone, way before she knew right away that he was gone. And so the world works. I mean, the world works in mysterious ways. How about we leave it at that? It just is very, very interesting. You're in a strange you're in a city, you're far away from home, and all of a sudden you just run into somebody that has a connection, some way to you or somebody that you know. Oh yeah, that would be nice. That would be nice. That's a great idea, Mike. So, anywho, that's the plan. And so I'm not sure we're going to be going. I think we're making our way slowly but surely north. We're starting in Cebu because a lot of you know I love Cebu City. I like hanging around there, and so I wouldn't miss the opportunity to be hanging around Cebu City for nothing. And who knows how long that we'll stay there because I'm not. I don't. We don't have a schedule. We don't have a schedule. We don't work. We just hang around. Moelma's in the house. Hi, Moelma. So it could be 1 week, 2 weeks. All depends on our mood, I suppose. And then we'll make our way north. And there are a few of the islands that we want to visit along the way. And I know that we want to visit. I know Minnie and I want to visit, and we also have friends. We also have friends that now live here that were good friends of ours from Sacramento. And how the whole thing materialized is very, very. It's not a very complicated story, but it's a long one, and so I'll skip over all that. But anyway, we've got we've got so many connections from the Sacramento area. You wouldn't think so, and they're all living up in these parts. I mean, in the Philippines. We have a friend that lives down in Davao, Tagum City. We have friends that live in the northern area, Manila and Luzon, and we also have friends in Thailand that were from Sacramento. And of course, Thailand is interesting. I could talk briefly about this. I don't have all the details about Thailand, but you may have already heard that Thailand is creating a new visa that goes into effect, guess when? June 1st. So when they make their minds up about something and everybody's on the right page, they act. And this visa is a 6-month renewable for another 6 months for me. It's called Dan's visa. And it covers people that want to come into the country and stay longer than that 30 days by getting this special visa that will allow them to go in the country and film for social media. So it's really a YouTube visa, or you can learn Muay Thai, or you can attend class, or you can attend you can learn how to cook. A lot of people go in there, and as long as you register all that stuff when you're doing your visa application, they will approve you for a 6-month visa with an option to renew at 6 months. Let's see. What did Mike say? He was talking about Chris and Cebu. I really miss Chris and Cebu walking videos there in Cebu City. I didn't mind. He walked in the same area all the time. No, he's a very personable guy. He's just like I mean, they're the most successful on YouTube, are they not, Mike? All right. Dan, does the Philippines have life insurance policy? So benefit for those we love. I have here in Canada for my Asawa, but I have never heard of life insurance. Yeah, life insurance. I don't. Uh, I think they do because a friend of mine told me that he has a policy. So, in one of the videos, I showed John when we're meeting over there at the cafe, the Dripwood Cafe. So John it's complicated, but John's a relative, right? John is a relative of Man Mini. I don't want to explain the connections to, not even I understand some of the some of the threads that go all over the place, right? In the Philippines. But John is a relative. So John, we were talking about this one day at breakfast, and John was telling me that he actually has a whole life insurance policy. It would be the equivalent to what they call my whole life insurance. And that whole life policy will pay out, it's so much a month, then for so many years. And then after that, once you reach a certain threshold, you no longer have to make the premium contributions. And so, oh yeah, I remember Smiley. Smiley was a hoot, Mike. She was a hoot. Well, anyway, he was telling me that the payout if he should pass away is something like 500,000 pesos, and it was not a very expensive policy. But when he described it to me, it's very, very much like a whole life insurance policy. You could borrow against it, you could pay yourself back the loan money, and then upon your death, whatever that balance is up to the principal, that 500,000, they will disperse it upon your demise. So I know they are available to get. I don't know. John's had his for 15 years, and he was telling me that that he's covered. You were talking about. I know death insurance to bury. Well, death insurance, here's what we did recently, right? So some of you that have connection to Biodiversity will know that they moved the Catholic cemetery to a different location, and so once they did that, a large cemetery, right? They offered burial plots for sale. And I think Mam Minnie went in there and bought three or four or five or six or something like that. She bought a whole bunch of them. And she was telling me she's through paying off for the burial plots. So I don't know about insurance or anything like that. I suppose that we're self-insured in that area, but we have the plots already paid for right here in the Philippines, and so she'll be dealing with that one day, I suppose. Uh, hmm. That's cool that you stay in contact with her. They're a whole bunch of nice people, you know. They're a whole bunch of nice people that I wish I would have stayed in contact with. I guess I'm just not that kind of guy, you know. I have to if I have to make an effort doing something, you know. And people have argued with me saying that yeah, but the counter argument to that is you don't really care about them if you're not willing to make the effort to stay in touch with them. I suppose there's a certain amount of truth to that. I suppose there is. I feel ashamed right now. Ugh. Anyway, I didn't like Corone, Mike. I don't know why. Or Jerry. Jerry, I didn't like Corone. I'm not sure why. I think it was the whole, rip off thing, from the very beginning put a bad taste in my mouth. And so I definitely will not be doing El Nido. I'm going to be floating around, if you will, the Philippines. A lot of water, get it floating. Let's talk about the Filipino economy. Something really strange happened. And so I have had my mind changed. That's strange enough that you can change my mind. I want to talk about this BRICS thing for a minute, right? And how it's going to affect the Philippine economy. Is it going to affect the Philippine economy? I think so. I'll tell you why. Because there was somebody who I ignored. There was a YouTube channel that I ignored. I still can't remember the name of the channel that started talking about a triad of currencies that, it has something to do with a prediction that Edgar Casey made years ago. I don't know anything about it really. Of course I know who Edgar Casey is, right? He was hit and miss on his predictions, right? He was not a psychic, but what do you call those guys? Anyway, like a psychic, right? And people only talk about his hits, but they don't talk about his misses very much. And so I don't know, but I thought about this. I do remember this from years and years ago. Someone telling me about this, and they talked about the economy of the world uh, breaking up into three main currencies, trifurcation, three. I don't know what the number three has to do with it, but I imagine that has some kind of a spiritual connection, some kind of way. And the formation of the three main currencies in the world is starting to take place. And so Tim, so the whole thing is that I had said that it would be almost impossible to overtake the dollar on the global stage because we're rich. We're so filthy rich. But the more I started to see the BRICS develop, and who all was involved in the BRICS, the more I started to become convinced that yeah, there's an economic change coming. There's a global change coming in terms of the way currencies are going to develop and take place. And so they're actually going to have a token. They're actually going to have their own currency, the BRICS. And the dollar's not going away. It's never going away as far as I'm concerned. I don't think so. If I were to predict today what's going to happen in 20 or 30 years, I would say the dollar's still going to be here. But will it be the reserve currency? And a better question would be, will any currency be the reserve currency in the world, And so it's complicated. But we have The BRICS nations forming. Hey, thank you so much for being a 2-month member, Pinky Gray. I would have thought that most people would have bailed after the first month. I knew you would, and I knew you would hang in there with me. And others, I really appreciate you hanging in there. So, yeah, it's very, very interesting. So now we have, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's another troubling thing, quite frankly, Quite frankly, uh, that may cause a civil war. That may actually cause civil unrest in the United States, Mike. We could talk about that in a minute. But if you want, it wasn't something that I was going to talk about. It's not something that interests me very much. Yeah, they're trying to get rid of cash, but and make so I was talking about a triad of currencies or the number 3, right? So, let's talk about them. The US dollar is not going away. But the fractional currency setup that they have really bothers me a lot, right? I mean, the fact that I could take a dollar bill out of my pocket and what I'm holding is a promissory note to pay. And as long as everybody is willing to accept a promissory note to pay, we're good. We're good. It's the perception of the value of the money that's important, right? It's how you perceive it. So you're giving it its value, and that's probably why you have, you have, let's see, no politics, that is why no name. Oh, I see. Okay, that's all right. Very, very good. Upgraded 602 is here. Hello, hello. So anyway, let me see. Upgrade. Do we want to upgrade? So now we're talking about currency, and then I will make a few comments about that, I think, the other thing. All right, so think about this. So I don't like the fractional currency thing, because it seems a little bit weird. I mean, all things were going well when we were on the gold standard. Right now, who's holding all the gold? Russia. Russia has very, very little public debt. They're probably one of the wealthiest economies and one of the fastest growing economies in the world. The sanctions didn't do anything to stop Russia from trading. They found workarounds. They don't have to deal in the dollar all day, all night if they don't want to. They could survive just fine on their own because they have no public debt. So the other ones that caught my attention were India, of course. And the thing is, when you're looking at India, their economy is emerging so quickly. They have all the population. They're becoming, well, let's see, Nitban isn't here, but if he were, and I use the word westernized, I wonder if he would be offended or not. That kind of cracks me up a little bit because India is in the East, is in Asia. It's not in the West. But they want what Westerners want, Levi's jeans, Nike shoes, the whole thing. And so, and they're growing and they're consuming crap like crazy, right? They're consuming crap like crazy. And why wouldn't they be? Their population is growing like crazy. So you got them. So you got the BRICS. So you got the dollar, which I'm saying the currency is not going away. Oh, no, oh, no, no. And then you have the BRICS. BRICS, I like the way they roll. And the reason why is because it is commodity based. What do you got? What do you got to offer up? I got gold. I got coal. I got oil. I got this. I got that. Right? They're the number 1 trading partner with China in petroleum products. I could be misspeaking this, right? They're that what? They hit 52 degrees Celsius, that'll kill them. They may have to go underground. But even if they go underground, they can build tunnels. They have the people. They have the equipment. Hire Elon Musk to build tunnels. They could build tunnels underneath India to live in. Digital money will fall again. There's nothing of value. Well, The way that I understand that it's going to work when they finally call for your money is that you'll go and you'll turn in your dollars at the local bank. Well, here's the thing. The way that I understand it is if you're using the bank, you're direct depositing it, and you're getting your check in there, it will automatically be converted into tokens. You won't be able to go to the ATM machine and withdraw the money. You'll have to trade in those tokens. They'll have a value. But so every time that you make a deposit in dollars, the dollars that you do have, they will be converted into tokens. So once the dollars leave your hand and you make the deposit to the bank, they will happily accept them, but they will turn into digital tokens. So, well, all governments are going to be supporting it. They already have announced that they already say they are, and so the BRICS have already announced that they are. It's not in the way that we were thinking, where the central bank generates the digital currency. I mean, that may be the way that the United States works, but there's talk, of course, that they're creating, the BRICS is creating a central bank, and there's other talk. I want to talk about the triad, the number three. And so, yeah, I misspoke. They most likely will be creating central banks in order to handle the digital currency. For those of you who don't know, the Philippines already has one, right? And so it's called the Central Bank of the Philippines, and they're the only authorized trader of digital currency. There's no one else, no private company that can come in here and trade in digital currency. It all has to go through the Central Bank of the Philippines. So they were way ahead of the game in passing legislation that they would be the exclusive bank to handle digital currency. No one else can interfere. As opposed to in the United States, you have a whole bunch of private companies, right? You have a whole bunch of private companies that are forming, free enterprise. And some of them will die off and some of them will survive, I'm almost sure. But how does it affect the Philippines? How does it affect Asia? Well, the weirdest thing happened that I would not have been able to predict. I wasn't even thinking about it. I wasn't even looking that direction. And so it caught me off guard. But in the meeting of the Asian nations, the 10 or 11 members of the Asian nations, that's ASEAN, ASEAN, they voted to develop a closer trading relationship with their partners and do more trading in local currency. What did they just say? They just said that we no longer want to trade using the dollar exclusively. It does not mean that they won't be using the dollar. It simply means that they will be using the dollar a lot less. And when you're not trading in dollars, you're basically hurting the United States, because that money to survive in the economy and to grow has to come from somewhere. And if countries stop buying our debt and there's no place to go to sell it, no one's interested in buying it because they're dealing in hard currencies that are backed by commodities, that is really, really an interesting thing. And lastly, I'd like to talk about the Philippines specifically, who just announced, if you go to Philippine Star News or any of the newspapers or even online, I'm sure you're going to find this story. They said they want to transition to a service-oriented economy, and I damn near fell off my chair when I read the story. I mean, I could not believe it. I mean, here you're ripe for manufacturing, and then we discover that you've been divided up already and that your place in the world is going to be a service-oriented economy, just like the United States. So I just want to caution you about something. I've said before in my videos, I'm saying here now, Des. Hi, Des, how are you? Nice to see you, Des. I'm saying here right now, I was initially shocked Des, a member for 2 months. Thank you so much for not escaping. I appreciate it. Thank you for not running for your life. I really appreciate the support. Oh, we're going to talk about that too in a minute. Um, so why? Why is the Philippines going to become a service-oriented economy? And oh, in India there is no public school, no money, no education, and yet you have some of the most brilliant people in the world coming out of India. I mean, you have these rocket scientists that the United States keeps wanting to get their hands on. These are very, very intelligent folks. They're probably U.S. trained too. They go to MIT and the like. Oh, Minnie's fine. Minnie is fine. She's doing well. All right, so now, why is this happening? Well, I think it's because the I think they divided everything up. This is a trick that happened in the olden days. Under NAFTA, the United States got together with Canada and Mexico. What was it called? The North American something agreement, the North American Trade Agreement, or something like that. And they basically divided up the economy. They basically said, okay, we're gonna make Toyotas and here, and we're gonna make Buicks there, and you have the right religious beliefs, Dan, and we're going to um, divide up the country economically so we don't step on each other's toes. That's what the Asian nations are doing, in my opinion. They already know what the strengths and the weaknesses are. And so, in order for economies to flourish, they are dividing up the economy. And they know the Philippines will do well as a service oriented economy. And so, when we mean service oriented, we're talking about call centers, hospitals, fast food. We're talking about anything service oriented. If it's in that category, that's going to be the Philippines. Manufacturing is going to be doled out to others, and then you have a segment that's going to be agriculture. You have a segment that's going to be electric car production, which probably is going to be coming out of. I'm not going to say 100% it would be India, but India seems to be cranking out beautiful electric cars for cheap right now. North American Free Trade Agreement. Yes, how free was it, Tim? Not so free. As a matter of fact, it didn't work out so well. So let's back up for a second. All right, what is the rate today? So it's a little bit scary. You know, it's 58.5 or 58.52, and I cannot, in the spirit of transparency, I cannot tell a lie or misrepresent myself in any way. You know that I'm going to take advantage of that exchange rate, and then because it gives me the opportunity. See, I'm going to smooth that uh, comment over. Let's see. It sounds like the Asians are following the invisible hand theory of Adam Smith. If I knew who Adam Smith was and what the invisible hand theory was, but I trust that it's very similar to what I just described. And so, but I'm gonna research it now and read about it. Um, Thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. It's better for me to just say I don't know it instead of fake it. Uh, let's see, 58.50, and the central bank is saying we're going to have to intervene. It's getting closer to 59. So this happens when so the way this works, to my knowledge, the way that it works when when dollars flood into the market, all of a sudden, boom, they appear. Then this affects the availability of dollars, affects the rate, as does the restriction or the if it starts to shrink, it affects the rate. So you might want to do a little bit of research on it, but it causes inflation in the Philippines, right? It causes inflation. How does it cause inflation? Well, I believe it causes the price of rice to start going crazy. That's an imported product that I think you're going to become even more self-reliant on imported rice. I don't know how this is going to work, but I went into Metro Mart. Some of you know who Metro is or what a Metro Market is. I think I took a video. I'm not sure this is going to work out or not. We're going to try it. Let's
Please proceed to feeding room. One cover mustard burst now. Please proceed to feeding room.
are telling me that they ain't playing fair in the markets around the Philippines. I really don't know if this is true or not. I have not paid attention. You will have to tell me if uh, if what is happening, what my friend tells me is happening, is actually happening in your neck of the woods. I know, and I mean it's scary, right? Rice in the Philippines is controlled by the government. Rice, they have warehouses full of rice. Well, they subsidize it, right? And so they're going to know when it's time to add a little bit to the subsidy because people are going to be going crazy. They're going to be screaming, saying they can't afford to buy rice. He was an economist, philosopher in the 1700s. He said that people and countries were moving to doing what they do best in order to maximize their growth. Yeah, and so it's a old game. We did it during NAFTA, and now everybody's kind of like following suit, but they're consolidating. They don't want the United States coming to them and and dictating their rules to them, right? They've had enough of it apparently. And so when you come to me and you want to trade a commodity, I'm going to give you rice, you give me your petroleum and equal amounts, and it's fair trade. And so trade is what makes the world go around. It always has, it always will. That is what was behind the War of 1812 in the United States, as many of you were aware. I bought rice in Bye Bye Public Market. It's 57 per kilo. Yeah. So now native rice. Uh, Here's what somebody was telling me, Des, is going on. I'm not saying it's going on in our market, Bye Bye City. They don't live in Bye Bye City, but they were saying that in their public market, they are mixing rice to extract the highest profit potential they could out of that rice. So what they're saying is basically what they're telling me is they said it in the most elegant, nicest way without making it sound accusatory. But basically, what they're saying was people are cheating. They're mixing rice in order to maximize their profit potential. I would not have any idea because I don't even know what I'm looking at. When I see Filipinos go to the market to buy rice, I see a scientist going in there, picking up the rice, visually assessing it, smelling it, sometimes even putting it on a table to see what the rice kernels look like, right? And then making decisions based on appearance, on smell, on a whole bunch of different factors that I am not aware of, that you probably are aware, because this is what you do. Let's see, they lowered the price last month. My Sawa says when it went up in her area, someone making money. Yeah, somebody's always going to be making money off the commodities. So anyway, this is the latest news, and I don't know if you're shocked by learning this, if you're learning that this happened when the Asian countries met and the Philippines started being a participant. One last thing I want to talk about before we talk about the what Mike mentioned earlier about convictions on all 34 counts. All right, so I had said earlier I was talking about we're going to talk about that in a minute, but I want to talk about how being a service economy and service oriented economy is not such a bad way to go for the Philippines. They're already set up importing just about everything that they need. I was kind of hoping that they would spend time diversifying a little bit and getting the agricultural growing. They have all kinds of potential. I mean, they have enormous potential for growing coffee. They have tremendous amount of potential for growing, for co-oping things like sugar and rice. But it would seem that they are going to, they're not going to abandon those projects. I don't believe they will. But the focus is going to be on service-oriented economy that most likely will involve tourism, also increasing tourism. In China, they were selling fake rice to the Philippines. It was plastic rice. You know, I know so many tricks, Mike. I once was in a pizza shop where they were using paraffin wax as cheese on the pizza. And when I caught him at it, I was saying, why would you guys do that? And then I did some research. I found out that paraffin wax, it doesn't cause any harm when you consume it, you know, and that basically they were using that and integrating it in the cheese, and you couldn't tell the difference unless you took the pizza home from the pizza parlor and you kept it overnight, and then when you went to go get seconds, unless you heated it up in the microwave, if you ate a cold pizza, it would be stiff as a board. You could lift the cheese right off the top of the pizza, right? But somebody called them on that operation. They stopped doing it. But it wouldn't surprise me that cheese manufacturers, it wouldn't surprise me one bit that they're shredding in there 1 or 2% paraffin wax. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference. How would anybody be able to tell the difference? You wouldn't be able to taste it in the flavor. It wouldn't look any different when you're using it in cooking. And so they could get away with maybe 1 or 2%. I can't see anybody getting away with more than that, you know. Chow Ram is here, letting me hanging in there with us. All right, so let's go back. I know what I want to say. Thailand. So the reason why Thailand is introducing this new visa is because tourism, they're missing $100 billion in tourist money. All of a sudden, yes, that's right. It's a penetrating subject, is it not, Mike? It's the pizza cheese would be stiff as a board. You'd be able to crack it like a cracker, right? So anyway, the reason why they're changing the visa requirements in Thailand is because they're missing $100 billion in tourism money, right? And so that's problematic for the economy, the Thai economy. And so their ministers over there saying we got to do something, we got to do it quickly. And so they're coming out with that 6-month visa. I'm loving it. I'm loving the idea. I mean, apply for a visa, get 6 months, wham bam. 6 months there, 3 months in Malaysia, a couple months here, there, and there. And you a couple of months in the Philippines, you're nomadic Dan, right? Nomadic Dan. That's a good ring to it. All right, so now let's talk about this thing that happened in the United States. So you know, on one count, that's what I said in one live stream, without mentioning who was convicted of 34 counts of what. All you really needed was a conviction for one count. That's all. That's all you really needed. And the person, that was convicted is going to go to jail or prison for a very, very long time. So now, I came up with a title for a book. The Richest Man in Rikers, the richest man at Rikers Island. Because not only is he a billionaire today, he will be a billionaire behind bars, and he will be a billionaire in November when he's able to sell off some of his social media stock. But they only let you put so much money on the books at Rikers at one time. That's to prevent him, I think, from going crazy on Reese's peanut butter cups and things like that. You know what I'm saying? So soon we'll have the richest man in Rikers. That's the name of the book. The richest man in Rikers. And who will be putting money on everybody's books once he starts to get to know everybody before he's transferred to the maximum security prison. However, a lot of people don't realize that these are state offenses, right? These are state offenses. And so what ends up happening is that of course, he gets to exercise his rights of appeal. And while I'm watching this whole thing unfold, I'd have to say that yeah, he might be on home arrest for the rest of his life. Quite frankly, no, he might be on home arrest. But in fact, that's where he headed, right? Didn't he head over to one of the buildings that he owns, not too far from the courthouse? So the whole thing is that he'll be putting on the money. He'll be putting money on the books of everybody in the prison. But I had heard they were already preparing a bed for him. So I would imagine that he's going to be. If I were to make a prediction, I would say that when sentencing comes on July 11th, he's going to be remanded to state custody. That's the way I would do it if I were trying to disrupt an election cycle. But here's the problem with this whole idea, right? It has the potential to stir up everybody to the likes of which we haven't seen in the United States since the 1960s. Civil rights movement. That's the problem. Menge is here. That is the problem with this, with imprisoning him. The problem with putting him in prison is that it's going to create an environment of fear, I would say. And now I had plans, Mamie and I had plans of returning back to the United States. We were about ready to purchase those tickets. And then all of a sudden I hit the brakes and I go, whoop, 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 whoop. Let's hit the brakes hard. We're waiting. And she goes, well, why? Says, I was there. I saw it all. I was there through the 60s as a small child. I was there through the 70s. I'm telling you, I don't want to have to relive that. I do not want to have to relive that. Yeah, exactly. But cameras malfunction and Secret Service have breaks and, things happen. So that's about all I want to say about that, And so far, all I could say is that this thing, it has a ways yet to play out. But it will not keep this individual from running for that office, And so I know it's easy to point a finger and say that, corruption's in this corner of the room. But I think corruption is in all corners of the room. And so you're going to start seeing all kinds of things happen that may cause civil unrest in the United States. I'm not saying that there's going to be a civil war. I'm not even saying anything like that. I'm just saying that there will be civil unrest. And I don't know what it's going to look like. And so I'm very, very uncertain, So it's a good time, I think, that if I need to touch base on U.S. soil, I hear that Guam is a very nice place to vacation this time of year. Let's just leave it at that. So anyway, yeah, it was quite shocking, was it not, Daisy Lynn? The price of rice that people were willing to pay. But I didn't see people loading up on rice from the metro. Nope. I didn't see them bringing in trolley carts and loading up. Loading. I keep hitting the mic. I didn't see them coming in here and loading up trolley carts with bags of rice because this price was so great. I better buy now. But actually, I think you better buy now. Because I think that your only option is to wait. And if you wait too long, the price is going to go up as opposed to going down. That's my greatest fear. All right, I've talked enough about these subjects. I was going to have a happy day, right? And so I guess it was a happy day for me because all talking about all this stuff makes me happy. So now let me grab the random number generator and let's find 3 winners for 200 pesos. Let me take a sip of water here for a minute though. I know, Mike, but you see how they shut them down so fast? They shut them down so fast. And folks, listen, you're missing the point, especially when you have non-violent meetings, or get-togethers. We're missing the point the same way that they did back in the 1960s in the height of the civil rights movement and MLK and the like. All right. I keep wasting these index cards. So I'm going to cut one up real quick here into edible pieces. Mangy's here. Cha Ram is here. Dez in the house. Yeah, it's much better to buy in the public market. I agree with you. But I guess my inference was, do you trust the public market more than you trust the metro market, or that you're getting a quality product? I think that was more my point. Maris is here too. In other words, yeah, I understand wanting to get the best price for the rice. They don't listen to each other, they talk over each other. That's true. That is absolutely what I have observed, Mike. Journals is in the house. All right, I got these little bite-sized pieces of paper. Now I'm going to my phone. And I've got the random number generator. So our numbers are going to be from 1 to 100. And I'm selecting the number now. I hope you can't see the number in the camera or the reflection of it in my glasses. Let me take these off for a moment. I have the number. Let me put this away. I have the number. It's written down. All right, don't start guessing until I put start. This is for 200 pesos. I randomly generated the number. There you go. Start guessing now. Any number between 1 and 100. Oh, we got some good guesses in there. We got some good guesses. Any number between 1 and 100, please. All right, stop guessing. Let's go over it. Let's go over it. The winning number for the first win for 200 pesos is number 61. That's number 61. All right, tell me who the winner is. Number 61. Tell me who then the winner is. I don't see anybody talking. Let's see, I see 59, 57. Oh, that's below the stop though. Anime, I see you guessed 61, but were you the first one? Oh my goodness gracious, I cannot believe it. That's like 3 weeks in a row. You are like the luckiest person on the planet. I couldn't believe it when I saw it. I'm like, what? Anime? Anime? Well, anime is one of my favorite people in the whole world, so I don't know if that counts for anything. Let's try it again. Let me go back to the random number generator. You know what I was just thinking? So I will keep the random. Oh, first of all, here, let me show you that that was the number. I just started thinking that, oh man, I better show you the random number generator. So to show you that I'm not fooling around, right? There you go. All right. So now anime is going to sit the next guess out, right? And so I don't know. Are you the you might be the psychic one that I was thinking about anime when I come up with this idea for a random number generator. So you and I we're gonna have a little talk soon, we're gonna have a little talk. I want to find out if you have psychic abilities that you have been developing. I sometimes I feel somebody in my brain, Oh, I know it's psychosis, Tim. All right, I'm gonna come up with a number. So, gosh darn it. There's another way that we could do it, right? And that is you guess first, and then we randomly generate the number. No, I don't want to do that. Let's keep going. Let's keep trying this time, and then if it doesn't work out, then we'll try something else. But so far so good. I mean, 61 anime wins. It's totally legit. Oh, ooh, this is a good number. I think I like this number. All right, so don't start guessing until I put start. Belinda's here. All right, start guessing, start guessing, start guessing. Stop. 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 And I wasn't looking at it because I was making somebody a moderator. I was giving someone a jacket. All right, here's our number. Number 22. Number 22. The random number generator. Number 22. Who won? Let's see. Who won? I'll wait for you guys to chime in. What? God repairs. Didn't you win last week? Rona's here. Hi, Rona. All right, so congrats to God repairs. Okay, so you guys sit this out, and we're gonna go for the third one. Did I show you the number right here? God repairs. Do me a favor. Send me your GCASH number so that I don't mess up again. Last week I kind of got hung up thinking that I had your number. Oh yeah, I remember the mistake I made. Yeah, one of the numbers. Oh yeah, I have it. One of the numbers I thought was a 7 and it turned out to be a 9. So we're cool. I do have your number. You could send it to me as backup if you want to, but I do have it. All right. The last one for 200 pesos tonight. I'm generating the number now. Don't start guessing until I put start in the chat. There you go. Good luck, everybody. Start your guessing. Stop. In the name of love. All right, here we go. Let's see who won. Tell me who won. This one shocked me. This one was a number I wasn't expecting to come up. I hope I didn't give a tell like blink or something like that. There it is, number 100. Who wins? Who wins the money? Number 100. I don't see it. I don't see a winner. No winner. Yay! We get to do it again. We get to do it again. That was a tough one. I saw journals put it in beneath the stop thing. So it doesn't look like anybody won. So we're going to do it again. Let me generate the number. Oh, I like this one. Don't start guessing it until I put start in this thing. Start. Go. Oh man, it's going so fast. Stop. The stop order is in. Let's see what our winning number is. 46. Do we have a winner at 46? I saw a lot of 40s going by. No, not 40 ounces. Ah, everybody's saying it's letting me. Larry says it's letting me. Journals, and everybody says it's letting me. Congratulations. Let me show you. There you go. There you go. Well, that about wraps it up. That about wraps it up for today. We got 3 winners. We've got Anna Mae, God Repairs, and Letty Me. Congratulations. 200 pesos each, and we're going to get that out to you ASAP, like right after I close out. Thanks so much for your support. I really appreciate it. Don't forget, to get me more friends. Oh yeah, I was going to talk about the support. So the support is good, but you know it's starting to wane a little bit. The views on the videos are starting to go down. Subscriptions starting to go down. I started to notice this is happening on a whole bunch of channels. So I'm just thinking that I think that it starts to collapse once the school year ends, right? It starts going down. It dips for, I don't know, several weeks from what I understand. And so hold me up because we're at $80. We reached $80. We only have about a 75% chance of making it, making the $100 target in the month of June. But hey, you know, it could happen. It could happen. It's all up to the advertisers. But do me a solid. Go in there, watch the videos that have ads attached to them, and enjoy your weekend. We'll see you on the next live stream. Bye, everybody. Take care.